welcome on back. We left off as we were exploring here. Uh, Happy lunch break on a Friday, and yeah, so already had some pretty interesting things happening. Yes, getting lots done at work, of course, but also um, it's kind of been passing already. Already this break. Doing some social engineering, some positive social engineering. And that's another cybersecurity concept I'm trying to make popular. And I'm sure it's already a thing, just different names or what have you, or even implied. Like people kind of know that, well, engineering is, crafting something or making something worth, usually involving complex math and physics and an understanding of the physical world in order to, well, that's to be a good engineering. But I mean, just regular engineering, it could be, I don't know. I'd leave that to people like Mark Rober, one of the more famous engineers that, like a fungineer. He's also the guy that, I love his channel. He does like these Squirrel Olympics, where he does like an obstacle course for these squirrels, and then they get rewarded with a bunch of nuts at the end, or a bunch of food, whatever. Yeah, nuts. I think walnuts and peanuts and all that. But um, yeah, and then he also does the scammer payback, which is like, well, he did some research first. He gives a little backstory when he does those videos, and like, turns out, like scammers aren't that easy to catch, and even if they do, there's not a whole lot that they can do. So he started shaming them by making these glitter bombs that were, completely legal, like, or as far as I know. I don't know. I don't think any cop would really try to bust him for these, like, be like, thank you for stopping this annoying nuisance, because it is. People thinking that they can just steal money from other people and and like God will forgive them or whatever their justification is. Like it's still wrong. It's still like, you know, put yourself in their shoes. Like you're an average person, probably not that wealthy, and even if you are, like, even if you're more wealthy than the person stealing from you, it's not like super wealthy or even doesn't matter. Like first and foremost, it's wrong. It's illegal, but most of the time it's stealing from like the elderly people that are relying on that like nest egg to live. Like that's all the money they get. They can't go out and work and earn more. And a lot of cultures respect the elders. Like that's a big common theme. It's such a disrespect to someone's elders. So like, and if your own elders found out you were doing that, I just imagine that there would be some issues or some words exchanged. Be like, why are you doing this? You disrespect me because you're disrespecting that person's elders or someone else's elders. I mean, it doesn't change just because of skin color, ethnicity, religion, anything. Like, none of that matters. A person is a person. And if we're going to continue to, like, keep preaching that, which is true, scientifically too. Like, Neil deGrasse Tyson pointed out the exact percentage or like a estimated percentage of just how similar human beings are from one another. And it was like 96, 98, I want to say. It was like in the 90s. Close enough. Like, nobody out there is an animal, a savage, like a creature, incapable of knowing what to do, the right thing to do, incapable of doing the right thing. Everybody is a person that just needs that constant accountability and guidance. Accountability and guidance. Sorry. Sometimes slur when I get excited. Anyways, back to this thing. So a Facebook thing, and again, on break, make sure you're doing this on proper times. Don't abuse your worker because as a lot of people are finding out that remote work gets a lot more done. Now there's a bunch of nuances to that, like or a bunch of aspects to that that need consideration. Make sure every employee has plenty to do. So they always have like they're not, twiddling thumbs because there's also a barrier too. Like a lot of people are hesitant to ask, be like, "Hey, what can I be doing?" or something, or like, or maybe I don't know. It's easier to just have a bunch of work that can be done anytime, so then they can just kind of pick at their leisure from the file, feel like they got accomplished and they got a lot done, and then yeah, and constant feedback too with your supervisor is good. Anyways, back to the thing. Don't abuse your breaks, but at the same time, hopefully your supervisor gives you enough time to do stuff and enough breaks to not wear you out. Anyways, back to the Facebook thing. So there's a spammer in one of the groups I'm in. I'm in a few Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad groups. Why? Because those are some of the best shows ever. They show social engineering and how bad it can go, but also how good it can go. There's a lot of social engineering back and forth, like people manipulation, like trying to help people, protect people from harsh truths or things. Um, that could still be argued as negative social engineering or manipulation of people, but like, and don't think of that as too strong of a word because it refers to everything down to little white lies or just, Hank protecting Marie's little theft thing, or could be big lies like Walt's or Jesse's or Saul's or Mike's or Anyways, I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't seen those shows, but also that music is getting intense. I might need to see about toning that down. Anyways, I'm about to start watching the season and take notes and try to adjust and pivot, make the next one even better. And we're going to start off with a lot of summaries of all this music we've been doing. So for those of you that stuck around, I appreciate it. Thank you for joining. For those that have joined later, also appreciate it. Anyways, goes without saying, I should hope. I could do a whole episode of like thank yous and reasoning and logic and juicing and with the Facebook thing. So there's a spammer. Let's see, actually I could go that way and it would make sense. So I have a lot of leeway. I could even maybe go around this hill and still be discovering land. Um, yeah, and just imagine if everybody in the world was doing what I'm doing here in this simulation with the real world. That wouldn't be cool. Just running around destroying things, digging things up, building things I want, and then leaving. Most of the time, never to come back, unless it's after I leave a dog or something. That makes it sound like it happens a lot, but that was the first time for that. Ooh, now we need to be careful here, because this could be death. At night, not the best place to fight mobs, so if we can get to a field. I did sleep. Let's see. But anyway, so there was a spammer, somebody posting fake news stories that said, you know, someone's in the hospital, or I think it was Simon from American Idol. So, like, these people oftentimes are just people around the world trying to take advantage of American emotions, which are human emotions, not saying that they're unique to us by any means, but trying to pick a public figure that people care about, and being like, look who's in the hospital or dead, and then it's like a fake news story. And even if you look at the link, because Facebook publishes the link that it goes to, so you can kind of see it and be careful, and it shows like news something, blah, 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 and then store or something. Like someone's trying to sell you something based on you visiting this site. Oh my gosh, this is pretty dangerous. Okay, well, actually just barely heard that time, but if I would have just gone running off of that, that would have been death. Oh, and I don't see a field. I forgot that we were looking for a field. Let's go over here. Let us do battle with some spiders. Over there. I mean, this would be okay, I guess, but I like that. I mean, you still gotta be able to run. But anyways, I saved the response to the spammer. So first, let me back up a little bit. There were two spammers that posted almost the exact same link, different accounts, different Facebook accounts that were members of this group, and you know, probably some people just who knows. Let's see. Okay, usually you hear the things flying above head. The okay. What in the world? I kind of want to fight him, but I'm not near a village, so it would be kind of pointless. Should I fight him? I mean, the goal is what was moving over there? Skeleton. Oh, looks like I don't have a choice. I gotta choose violence. Oh, they're gonna shoot my dog. Not my dog. Okay, okay, run, run. I'm dying. Whew. Shoot. Whew. Okay. Is my dog alive? Yes, I hear a dog. Is it my dog? Thank goodness. Whew. Alright, never mind. Let's just stay in peaceful for now. I don't really need the spider eyes that much. How many do I have anyway? 5. I could breed 2 more armadillos. Anyways, back to this. So, two spammers did a thing about Simon from American Idol being in the hospital. And then look at this, and it was clearly a misleading spam link. And usually the admins are pretty good about it. And I put this big rant on why you shouldn't do this. Tried to engineer it, and I even got so far as to say I'm a certified white hat cybersecurity professional, which I hate like throwing that around because it's like, well, it's really cringe. But it is true that I do interact with people from the alphabet agencies. I have colleagues and all sorts of them. I don't, they're not my personal friends or anything, but like, well, actually, one or two I could say, but no, it's just a matter of being linked in on things like LinkedIn with people in the FBI or the CIA or the NSA. There's also DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, and all these government entities meant to prevent things like spammers, phishing for information, trying to prey on people that are willing to click those links or, stealing their information to try to steal from them in other ways. Like, it's all illegal. It's misleading, and even if they were advertising for a business, because it said store in the link and it looked like something like that maybe, you're using bad faith to advertise your stuff. You're misleading people, which is also illegal. You can't advertise like that in the US, and there's several laws and court cases and stuff like that. So it gets sticky with people from around the world because their local governments probably don't have laws in place like that, like you can't lie in advertising or something. Or maybe it's a little more lenient, like, oh, okay, well, they still chose to click the link, and so that's fair game. Like, whatever it is, until it's not. And a lot of countries are cracking down on this, I mean, for many reasons. And the main offenders really are India and Russia. Like, that's really, like, the two biggest... Wait, did I not discover over there? Or is that just the color of the... I want to check that real quick. I think that's just the depth of the water. Yeah, I did just explore all that. Never mind. Okay. Looking closer at the map, but you can see the smooth corner up top. That's not unknown land, and I might do that again when we get back there. So let's just go ahead and keep exploring. But anyways, I posted this long rant, and then in that first one, the admins removed it. Good job, it was done. So then the second one, I shortened my rant because I felt a little embarrassed about it. And even before the rant, I put like a little short one. Looks like someone needs to go or wants to go to Belize, which is a joke in Breaking Bad, like someone needs to get murdered, which is a little far. I get it, but it was a Breaking Bad comment in a Breaking Bad group. I thought it was appropriate. So, ooh, actually, we can swim up the river for a lot of this now. Whoa, don't land on the ground. Okay, that'd be such a dumb way to die. Such a dumb, lazy way to die. All right, let's actually see if I can go up in there. So anyways, and then I said, stop spamming in all caps, because like people are fed up with it. Like, I mean, people are part of that group because they want to see posts about Breaking Bad, and and that's all it's supposed to be. And spam is usually forbidden in a lot of groups, and if it isn't, it should be. Because if you want to advertise, go advertise. There's other places to do it. It might not be that great, but, and at least if you're paying for advertising, like on YouTube, like watching these videos, you're watching the ads, and those people are paying for YouTube to host my like hundreds of videos. So thank you for those of you that watch these and get the ad revenue. I don't see any of that yet. I won't see that until a long time. And I've kind of got an ongoing thing, like any money I get from any of these things, I'm going to turn around and put it into getting computers to people. So once I start getting cringe in advertising, that'll be the thing, because I got a good job. I like my good job. And quite frankly, I want to keep doing my job. It's rewarding, it's fun, like yeah, all those things. Anyways, so it's okay. Not saying I'm rich or anything, but anyways, back to the thing. So I made a more succinct, more bite-sized bit of communication, a tool, if you will, a viral concept for social engineering, positive social engineering, encouraging the person that sent that spam, because they might not know that this could lead to fines or jail time, especially if it's in America. But if it's in another country, it's actually getting close to that, because like I said, they're cracking down. They've had enough, because I mean, they get complaints, from our government being like, hey, these IP addresses and these users have been identified as, committing malicious activity, breaking laws and stuff. Now we want to cease and desist, and we do. We send that to other countries. We're like, hey, if you want to work with us, you're going to need to address these few things, these people. So, and all the intelligence agencies have their connections, their colleagues. And nowadays, mostly it is LinkedIn. Like, you just talk to each other. Hey, they're doing this. Okay, I'll send that up the chain. Or I'll let the people know. And then same with every system, every software system. Like that, they have to crack down on this sort of thing. They have to make their policies. Oh man, this is really we're good if here. Okay, we'll just bridge across. Because eventually I plan on building all sorts of fun stuff down here, and there's a lot of interesting terrain. No snow. Generally like to have a snow biome nearby. But oh, and back to the dog thing. There was at least like three other ruin or two or three other ruin portals that I found. So definitely a good thing I went back and watched the tape. So anyways, and then I started seeing other people comment on it like, this is good, this needs to happen, or like, yeah, I'm so tired of these spammers, and and just kind of opening the dialogue, the discussion with people around the world. Doesn't matter, like I might look foolish, yeah, I look foolish a lot. I'm okay with that. I mean, as long as I end up redeeming myself in some way, or the nuclear option and just set it on fire and walk out. No, Rick does that in the Rick and Morty show. Oh, and it is hilarious. He's like, "Oh, I'm bored," and then he just like lights the place on fire and leaves. But it's human nature. That's why these things are so funny and entertaining. Is because like we can relate. The relatability, the comical nature, and for this, it is a tool. I mean, it is a tool that everybody. I hope, and I even said that I was like, feel free to copy this message, edit it how you like, and just we need to hold these spammers accountable. And it's not enough to just be like, stop it, like I did in that first one. That's why it bothered me, because I was like, what does that accomplish? Like, they're just going to keep doing it. And then they're, it's going to keep being a pain. I'm basically kicking the can down the road. Or, as Mike would say, a half measure. I took a half measure when I should have taken a full measure. Now, that doesn't mean murder, as it does in the show. But a full measure is a more sustainable and scalable solution that not only usually it'll often address a wider range of audience or people or catch more of the problems, it'll keep it from happening in the future. Sorry, that was kind of I was trying to figure out the best way to translate, because in computer science a scalable solution is like, okay, I've got 10 users, and they want to use this website. Cool. That's the needs for that. So then you build the website that does that. So for just 10 users. Okay, well, what happens if I have 10,000 users? Oof. Okay, well, now we're going to have to probably add some things like, maybe some of the code worked just because it was only a few people. But now that you have a lot of people, you're going to have to change even more stuff. And so that's scalability. Does it scale or does it expand? Or um, does it also go the other way too? Is it overkill? I mean, that's what hard coding is a lot of times. Is like, okay, I will do this code. It works for this instance, and then, okay, well, here's this instance. All right, well, I'll write a whole nother section of code, probably double the size, up to double the size to address that, and sometimes even more. Or is there a scalable way to be like, do this, and then if this is a thing, do this? Or like a good example is instead of the grading thing, it's the perfect example. Or actually temperature. Here we go. We'll do a new one. Temperature. So if you want the temperature of your house to be above a certain temperature, you set it as such. Whoa. Or below a certain temperature. Although that's not really all that helpful, because most thermostats work that way, where like the heat won't shut off or the air conditioning won't shut off until a target is met. But you could just say, but it is still scalable in nature, because for the whole time that the temperature is either above or below a threshold or a number or a limit, then it won't activate. So like, say if you've got the heat on and you have the thermostat set to 70 degrees. Like, until the thermostat registers that, oh yeah, it's 70 degrees, it's going to keep running that heater. Now once it sees that it's 70 degrees, however it does that, I mean, it could be a number of ways, but like, it just sends a signal that, all right, stop the heater, and then it'll just continually check. And the way that most thermometers work is they have mercury in them, and the mercury expands so much based on temperature. Um, and then even there's like thermometer or mercury in a lot of thermostats too, because for a certain temperature, it'll be so long, and then as long as it's that so long, I mean, now everything's becoming digital, and like we were replacing those types for the most part. Actually, as I'm looking at mine, I think mine's still an old school one, that there's probably mercury in it. Whoa. Oh, okay, that's the dog shaking off the water. But yeah, so scalable solution. Like, otherwise you'd be like, if the temperature is 71.5, or if the temperature is 75.7 or 71, like there could be thousands, if not tens of thousands of possibilities right there that you would have to code for. Like if you add a percentage and then is it just whole percent, or what if it's like 25%? So you've got 100 options for every degree. In between each degree there's 100 sub options. So yeah, so maybe thousands, if not tens of thousands of things you'd have to code for, or you just be like, if greater than this, do this, or else do this. So it's either greater than this, or greater than or equal to. You got to throw in that equal because that is a corner case. Like, well, what if it's exactly that? And it's like, oh, well, we didn't plan for that. So, and once you've done that a few times for programming, you start to do it with everything in life. Be like, okay, well, if it's this all the way through this, okay, I'm prepared for this, both in the recipient phase, like I understand and perceive this, so I'm going to prepare for this range of options or this range of possibilities. Whereas if you're also in like the sending phase, like, okay, well, I'm going to send a message or communication or do an action or, do something that will work for the most possibilities. Because otherwise, you might have to do it again, rework, or it won't work. Like maybe you miscalculated or undercut it or sold it short or whatever. Like however you want to think about it, it wasn't sufficient to solve the problem that you tried to solve with whatever it was, a communication, a text, a phone call, a brief greeting. Although I do that a lot too. Like sometimes I really nail it. I'm like, yes, that was good. And other times I'm just like cringing as I walk away. I was like, oh gosh, that was interesting. I wonder what they're thinking about that. But then it's like, I have no control over what they think about me based on that. And I don't care about molding the perfect. Because, well, for one, it doesn't work. Like, they're going to think what they think about you, regardless of how much effort you put into it. And there's better ways, more scalable or more low effort but higher output ways of achieving someone else's opinion of you. And again, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what you do because they're going to think what they think about you. Best you can do is just, you know, accept that, I guess. You don't have to be everybody's friend, and they'll respect you more for it. And it is also not like a scorched earth thing too. I know we're kind of getting really wishy-washy, but we started with spammers and this neat little thing that I started doing with my one of my communities, the ones that like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Such an amazing couple of shows, mind you. Breaking Bad is still better, I would say, but not like I think Better Call Saul should have still won a bunch of awards. And like someone was saying that their thoughts on it is that after watching Breaking Bad, a lot of people they had already been jaded to a lot of things. Like Breaking Bad broke the mold for a lot of things, and just made a lot of people see this whole other side. So then, and it kind of like set people up so they weren't as surprised when Better Call Saul, like a lot of the same stuff was happening, and it was like the shock value kind of dissipated. And I don't think there's any real way to avoid that. I mean, they just made one really good, amazing show, then they made another really amazing show. And the other thing I think about is that I think because it's about lawyers, I think more people have negative interactions with lawyers. Well, hopefully that goes without saying, than meth dealers. But and even then, meth dealers are people too. They found like this crazy powerful drug. Like I mean, I don't know. I've never done it straight, but like seeing what I've seen about people that are doing it, people that have done it, all that. Yeah, okay. It's really strong. Keeps you up for like days on end. Makes you feel powerful. Makes you feel enlightened. Makes you feel excited. I mean, maybe some of that would be good for people that are like going through depression or feeling ho hum or despair. Personally, my opinion is if we fix politics and religion, a lot of that ho hum and despair and like feeling of anxiety and inadequacy is gonna go away. Like once we get a better handle of our understanding of the world, and then communicating that too, being like, no, 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 I don't mean this, this, and this. And if I had a dollar for every time I heard something like that in a discussion about politics or religion. Oh, and that's another thing to note too. So I spend some time on the X app, formerly Twitter. Right? Someone I met someone the other day that like was like, tisk tisk, I can't believe you call it X app. It's like, yeah, you know what? Whatever you think about Elon, he bought the thing. He can call it whatever he wants. He can call it like Fufu Lala app, and like, okay. Over the other day on the Fufu Lala, I was talking about this. It doesn't matter. And actually, I was just telling my son about this morning. A rose by any other name smells just as sweet. And what Shakespeare meant by that was It doesn't matter so much what the label is, it matters about the sustenance. Like, what is the object being called a different name? Or because if you don't think about it that way, then anytime someone calls you a bad name, it's like, whoa, those are fighting words. I need to kill this person. Like, it could be that extreme over anything. Because if you're holding that much weight on a label, it could be potentially devastating to the point where, you know, and who knows, maybe a lot of depression and all that anxiety and negativity would just kind of melt away if we had better communication about things. If we didn't take things so seriously. We're just like, oh. And even just chalking it up that maybe they're having a bad day. I'll forgive them this trespass. Ah, see, I looped it back to religion. Because, like I said, there is a lot of really good stuff in the Bible, and I'm going to be reading the Quran soon. Ugh, the Bible is a bear to read. Every time I try to open it, I just get so bored, my eyes cross. It's the way they talk. It's like, maybe that's what should happen. There should be a translated Bible. And even that, just maybe not even call it the same thing because there's so much negativity like attached to it. Just be like, Christianity for the modern era. Like something like that would be great because I think the Pope could even get on board with saying something like that. And then, if that happens, well, anyways, the point is labels can hurt, words can hurt, and it's not sissy, insensitive, or whatever. Like, it's not a completely negative thing to pay attention to these things. It's about respect, respect for yourself and respect for others. When you say it that way, when you start thinking about things that way, then it's like, oh yeah, I can see that. We should put some effort into making sure this is happening, and that's okay. The other thing is talking too much, and that's why I'm starting to make shorts out of these ideas, or even summary episodes. This is gonna hurt. Okay, because then, oh, hold on, getting thirsty. And that's what I'm doing with this world. I build up a lot of those lecterns, a lot of those books. We're going to take all these hours and hours of me just talking to myself, musing. We're going to collate them into, and by that I mean me until my kids are old enough, and then I'm going to put them to work and make them do stuff like that. But hopefully by then I'll already, by the end of summer, I hope to have all this done. There we go. I drew a line in the sand for myself. By the end of this summertime, this channel will be revamped. That's a good goal. And and I appreciate that one comment from that one person. It's like, start naming them something better. Right? That's right. So, easy fix, do that. Ooh. But I'm also going back and rewatching them all and seeing, okay, what was I talking about here? And then putting a nice little summary in there, maybe a nice little graphic, pick a better thumbnail. And that's what I need. And really, to do that with a full-time job and kids half-time, I think I would have to take some time off from work and actually sit down and do that. And that's when you know that you've actually made it and you can start making ad revenue. But even that, that's why I stopped doing Twitch, is because you only get so much ad revenue for every, so many views. So you have to have, thousands and thousands of subscribers, or followers is the terminology there. If they subscribe, then yeah, you make money, and then, you get so much money of that, or I don't even know what it is, but and then so you get paid per view, and then you get paid a flat rate of all the subscribers, and it's like a percentage, you get 50% of their subscription fees. So the people that do the Twitch, see, I suck. I've got down to 123 followers, no subscribers. I am an affiliate, but that doesn't really mean much. Most affiliates end up quitting, like myself, or at least taking a big old break because they realize, wait, this isn't as easy as I thought. And that's also why whenever I watch people on Twitch, I respect them a lot more and I try to be nicer with that in mind, or more understanding anyway. Just be like, they're putting in a lot of work doing this for hours and hours, and having a regular schedule, every week. So yeah, a lot of emotions of attachment and guilt and all that. Alright, but anyways, that's my time for this one, probably even more so. Oh wait, no, it's because I took some time to, let's keep going a little bit. Took some time to have to delete some videos so I could clear some room. And eventually I got some just chores that I need to do. Cleaning up tech. And again, I'm going to make a nice summary and synopsis because I feel like everybody needs to have that. Just making labels for your email, organizing your email, making sure you have access to all your email accounts, and making sure you shut off any email accounts you're not using. They do have an automated system nowadays that will, most of the time, but it's also good to check because somebody could be out there pretending to be you, and then if they're messaging people that you know and using impersonation, then that's not good. Thankfully, everybody knows me, and if they don't know through a trusted source, most of the time I like to think with it. But again, that's assumption, so I gotta be careful with that. So it's best to just clean it up on my end. Only have like one social media thing of each thing. Try to consolidate things, or try not to do sketchy things to where you would need like multiple Facebooks. I mean, I get it. One of my friends, she has multiple because she keeps getting hit on a lot, and it's hard. She's constantly fishing and living and trying to like get the. Anyways, now it's about time. So, ta for now. I'm gonna go eat something and then finish out my Friday strong. So, have a great day, everyone. And we'll finish up the exploration in the next episode. And then I think we're getting nigh on making a whole new season. We'll start off with a good old summary. Like we'll do a summary at the end, and then like a cliffhanger. Like I think again, Breaking Bad. I just saw where they're doing that. Or no, Better Call Saul. Yeah, that's right, Poochie. Ta for now. I'll see you all in the next one.